And are you worried about people getting into, like photographers getting into video?
I've got thoughts about this.
I thought you might.
Yeah. First off, absolutely no issue with photographers getting into video.
Yeah.
From a selfish standpoint, it's because I've been in this game a long time and I've like nuzzled myself into more of the top end of the market. Yeah.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Backlit Failures. This one's coming out a little bit late, but in today's episode we have my good friend Ben Journeé, who is an epic wedding videographer. He also does commercial work and all sorts of stuff. Me and Ben are also running a couple of video workshops that are coming up really soon. If you want more information about that, you can check the links in the description. In today's video, we talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We talk about photographers getting into video. We talk about the way he works, the gear he uses, audio equipment, and just general chats between friends as well, like always. So with that being said, let's get into the podcast. Oh man.
Yeah.
Do you want a whiskey?
Let's do it. Amazing.
All right, we just go straight for the good shit.
Oh, straight for the
12 yeah.
For the Glenlivet.
Yeah.
Love it. Look at the hospitality.
I know, right? You don't get this shit in remote.
Fuck, you don't get this shit. Even when you came over to my house, you didn't get this shit. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Good to have you. Oh, that's good.
Love it.
Oh, I've got to hide my shorts. My dodgy stubbies.
You stubbies.
So what's up, man?
What's up?
How you feeling? We've already discussed a few things, but
We've already done a whole podcast off air.
That's how it goes, eh?
Yeah.
Like I did it with, like when Rachel came up,
Yeah.
we went out to breakfast first, but then we had like nothing to talk about.
That's the danger. And no, you got to keep the chats real light.
Yeah.
And then hit record. But things are good, man. Yeah. Things are good. One wedding to go.
Yeah.
Sort of energy levels are probably down the bottom end of the scale, but we're going into winter. We can just like
chill.
Sleep.
Yeah. When's your next one? I mean, where? Sorry.
Where? Nelson, of all places.
Oh,
I know.
fuck.
So yeah, 2 days away
That's
from. I know.
horrendous.
2 days away from the family, and yeah, but had to end on a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been shooting out of New Zealand, out of Auckland?
Out of Auckland Heats, yeah. This season's been crazy. Just I feel like I've had more weddings out of Auckland than in,
Yeah.
and more wet weddings than
Oh,
not.
fuck, I'm over wet weddings.
And bizarrely, like more couples that are parents already than not, which has never happened
Oh,
before.
really? Like young parents?
Yeah, young parents, or even just like couples in their like late 30s, early 40s.
Right.
Yeah. Like I did one wedding where there were more kids as guests than adults.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like, so because it was like a blended family. The groom had 2 boys, the bride had 3 girls, and they were all like between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And so then like all the guests were there, the kids' friends, and then like the nieces and nephews. There was just like fucking 30 kids running around.
Yeah.
It was hectic. It was great. It was like Brady Bunch on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, things like that have changed in my head. Like, you know, we used to, on my podcast with James, they were talking about like family photos and like group photos and like the shit we used to like whinge about a lot. Like I used to anyway, like
Yeah.
I hate this, I hate that. I don't give a fuck anymore. I just like do it and like try and make it as fun as possible. But
I think it's like getting out of your own head and figuring out what people actually want. It's like, yeah, those kind of staged family photos aren't the like artistic masterpiece that you want to be spending your time on, but if it's important to have these people captured for the couple, then
yeah,
it is what
by
it
the
is.
people that are paying you.
Yeah. In the same way that like I don't really want to record the best man speech,
Yeah, yeah.
but I do anyway.
Because you could just like copy it from another one.
Well, basically,
and like
yeah.
put it in AI and make it sound
Oh my
different.
gosh. Or just not different because like 6 beers deep,
Yeah, yeah.
all the dudes sound the same anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good to have you here, bro.
It's good to be here. This setup is very impressive. I've
Oh, thanks, man.
got mad podcast setup envy.
It's on the budget and like a lot of elbow grease. Like my back was fucked for a week after doing this.
Well, it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a bit of vibe, eh? It's somewhere cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't you give us? I mean, we've already talked a little bit about you doing like commercial and leading into weddings and stuff. But do you want to give us like a how you got into weddings? I always like that question rather than like what you do. Like, how did you get into it, and like what are you doing now? And talk a little bit about what you were saying before with like commercial and marketing it and stuff.
Sure. How did I get into weddings? 2010.
Yeah. Okay.
Like peak like DSLR video revolution. Got a Nikon DSLR that could do like 480p video masquerading as 720p video. And up until that point, I was like thick in my graphic design degree, and had up till that point had pictured myself doing like illustration or graphic design. I'd already done an animation course, and like my whole life was leading up to, drawing in some respect for my career. And then got this camera for my birthday, and I was like, this is way easier to be creative with this camera. So then just started like making little dance videos with it, because I used to be a dancer, and we would just like make these little dance films, and taught myself filming and editing and all that kind of jazz. And then weddings was literally just a way of like, how can I make money of this? Because I don't want to get a job as a graphic designer. Yeah. Why didn't I shoot weddings? Because I had seen like people overseas doing these wedding films, and then found people like Jared from Perspectives, Robin and Steph from Bubble Rock, and that was about it. People here doing wedding videos at the time.
Yeah, and they were two pretty good ones as well.
Yeah, they're very good ones. And then, fast forward, whatever that is, 13 years, and here we are.
Yeah. It's a bit different to the usual, like a friend of a friend asked me to do theirs.
No, but there is a good story about my first wedding where I shot my ex-girlfriend's wedding.
Oh, did you? Because like she was already your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. It wasn't our wedding that then became No, and other way around. I asked her, because I knew she was getting married. I was like, "Hey, could I give you a wedding film for free? Right. Basically, can I like, try this out?"
Yeah.
And just like classic first wedding story where I had all these ideas, and I like got this like shot of her like getting in the car and leaving, and I was doing the whole like cinematic thing. And then like let the car like go off into the distance around the corner. I was like, cool, got my shot, happy as off the car. And then on the way to the church, I was like, she's going to be like arriving, getting out of the car and walking into the church. Fuck. Yeah. So I missed her walking into the church completely.
Oh, shit.
And yeah.
I suppose because it was free though.
Yeah. And that was before the days of like recording, ceremonies and speeches in full. I was just like walking around with a camera, like doing clips and stuff. And they loved the film anyway and stuff, but yeah, classic like trial by fire, and like classic me, like just I'm totally the person who's going to just like, I'll just do it and we'll figure it out later. I'd rather just like start and do a bad job than not start
with like low consequences.
Low consequences. Then wait until I've got everything figured out.
Yeah, pretty much the same methods. Fake it till you make it.
Exactly, as we all do. But
it works.
It does.
Sweet. And then you were talking a little bit before about how you decided to go all in with weddings because you have your commercial brand.
Because I've got what used to be Side Project Films, which is now just my name, which is the wedding side of things, and then I had Video Lab, which is my commercial brand, and I had up until recently, like kind of split. So I would do like weddings in summer and then commercial work in winter. And as we were saying before, just before we jumped on the recording, that don't even know the terminology, and I do this for a job. That I just found myself having I felt like I was doing 2 full-time jobs. Yeah, and I'd get to the end of like a busy wedding season, and then with a full editing backlog, have to switch into commercial mindset. How I got to like network with marketing managers and get on LinkedIn and do all that whole bullshit. And I just couldn't. I just was like burning out, like trying to
Yeah.
flip my headspace. And because I was like, I went into the idea of trying to split things up with the best intentions, right? To like hedge my bets, not put all my eggs in one basket, diversify, try and get a more stable income across the whole year. And I quickly realized that, over a very long period of time, over several years,
Yeah.
eventually figured out that trying to run two businesses at 70%, I was just running out of time and mental space and energy, and
Yeah.
especially when my kid came along, and just like one more thing added in the mix of like something that needs your time and attention and energy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A lot of it.
and lack of sleep and everything. So yeah, it was literally just this season we're just in now that I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna like book full, like as full as I can, like book a full season,
Yeah.
and have the winter off
Yeah.
properly.
Weddings, I feel like weddings are kind of one of those things that you need an emotional break from it. Like after the season, like I do a lot of other things, but I totally get what you mean with like going from weddings into that commercial mindset, because I've shot for Zahn heaps. It's a totally different world. And like you act different, you like dress different, you shoot different. So like going from a full wedding season to like, okay, I've got to hustle with commercial, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's like if the jobs come, like I was literally on a commercial shoot today.
Yeah.
Sai was actually the photographer on it, which was cool. Got to
I saw him at the
yarn
shop
with
the
him.
other day.
Yeah. And like if the work comes to me, it's especially with like if there's a director on the job or a producer,
Yeah.
and they're doing all the like pre-production schedules and the call sheets and sorting the catering and all that sort of bullshit, like that's easy.
Yeah.
I can rock up, I can do my 2-camera interview and lighting and boom, 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 easy, done.
Yeah.
It's when I was having to, especially like all my work with Canon and stuff, like I'm trying to be, producer, director,
Yeah.
DP, editor, everything, caterer.
Right.
Like and
So is that doing like workshops and stuff?
nah, like because I've been doing content for Canon for several years now.
Yeah.
And just like working directly with the marketing department, basically being, because previously they had a traditional relationship with an agency, and it was a more traditional corporate agency relationship, and then as they tried to sort of like lean down and streamline, I kind of slipped in as a way to be like, hey, like I'm way cheaper than an agency and way more nimble, and we can just like hash it out across the table and just make some shit for you guys.
Yeah.
It means you're not getting like, it's not blowing your entire marketing budget on like one ad.
Yeah.
We can like do some content, and we can do different edits for social and all this kind of shit. But so yeah, I was like switching my brain into like full social media marketing agency brain.
Yeah.
And then also trying to do weddings at the same time. And it was just
right.
too much. So I still do work with Canon. It's a sort of slowed down a bit, which has been nice. But I'm not like frantically like looking for my next big like commercial client every single winter, because it just got draining. Trying to like hustle on LinkedIn and stuff was just.
It's a different kind of marketing.
It's a whole different, and I don't know. It's just like unless you're in it. And again, like we were saying before, like we hit record, I just find it way easier and way more authentic to connect with people in the wedding world.
Yeah.
Like vendors, couples, like.
Because you're talking to people about their day rather than like
their day
a
and,
producer that's planning something for somebody else.
Yeah. And just, some commercial stuff can be like, what are we doing this for? Like someone's got budget that they have to use, and it's like the point drops away really quickly sometimes.
So you probably feel like you could feel like you're kind of like it's not creative because you're just doing it to fill a budget.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean the stuff I do with Canon's great because I'm actually working directly with marketing team. We actually like talking ideas. Yeah. Way more like mental energy, creative energy intensive. So it's like it takes more energy, but it's more creative work than it like just a random gig that you get called up to film a corporate talking head video. Yeah. Easier,
Yeah.
not creative.
Yeah, right. But it was just going back, you said it was 2010 when you did your first wedding.
I think it was 2011 I did the first wedding.
Yeah,
got
right.
a camera in 2010.
Far out. That's crazy. That's,
Back in the iPod, what is it, Nano? I think it was literally like the first iPhone came out or some bullshit. Like it was.
Yeah, I think I did my first one like 2008 or something, but that was like the only one I did for ages. You know what I mean? Because you do one and then, did it take off for you? Because when I did my first one, it was like I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a good few years before I started getting work.
Well, did you start with photos or with video?
Photos.
Yeah. So I was lucky in the sense that I hit right on the start of video. And save for the handful, and by handful I mean like a couple of people.
Yeah.
Jared and Stefan Robin and stuff.
Yeah.
There was hardly any DSLR videography, like cinematic videographers.
Yeah.
So I ended up on weddings with photographers way outside my skill level. I was in my first...
Like they were way better.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was like first year of doing weddings, and I'm booking weddings with like Bailey and Moore and Danelle Bohane and like people that I should not be working alongside. And so like it was sort of like a trial by fire.
You would have learned a lot.
Like every wedding was a masterclass in getting up to speed with how to shoot a wedding.
They would have been like terrifying but awesome.
Yeah, it was terrifying but awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I think it was like the second or third wedding I shot, and I can't even remember the guy's name, but I thought he was like a big deal or something it was like down in Taupo somewhere. And just watching him work, but he wasn't, no one will be able to figure out what wedding it was, so it's fine, but he wasn't, like looking back, he was quite bad. And I picked up heaps of habits from that I had to like learn out of myself. Unlearn, yeah. So I don't know, that was crazy, but yeah. That kind of leads me on to another, I'm not really going in order here because I just wanted to have a chat with my mate, but
here for it.
What do you think so I was having a discussion the other day with a friend, and we were talking about photographers getting into video because, it's happening everywhere now. I think it's mostly because of mirrorless cameras and shit. It's just so easy. Well,
until people try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a technical mind, I think, and you can learn this shit and you're like have the dedication to learn it, the cameras give you a pretty good head start compared to what, like my first one was on a D750, my first film. Yeah. It was fucking horrible.
I was on D5000. Like 480p video, basically.
Damn.
Pretending to be 720.
Yeah.
Shit was wild.
And you, because I knew you long before I talked to you, I knew your films. And you were always one of the ones I was like, this is like the best shit I've seen, like your wedding films. There's probably only 3 that I'm like, that shit's sick, that I know of. And I don't know, there's not many, I could be wrong, but do you think there's not many video only people in New Zealand?
Yeah.
And are you worried about people getting into, like photographers getting into video? And like a side thing is like, why don't you get into photo? Because someone asked me that, like, someone was like, oh, all these fucking photographers they were a photographer, but saying like all these, and I'm like, she said, oh, you'd be pissed if video people were getting into photography. I was like, no, I don't give a fuck. Like, go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've got thoughts about this.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
Go.
So, first off, absolutely no issue with photographers getting into video.
Yeah.
From a selfish standpoint, it's because I've been in this game a long time, and I've like nuzzled myself into more of the top end of the market.
Yeah.
And so with the kind of videos I'm making, I'm a bit more protected from the kind of photographer with videographer add-on that is becoming more and more prevalent. I don't think that's a bad thing because I think couples want it. Couples want that security of one vendor who can handle it all, both from a effort standpoint. They can find the one vendor that they like, and then that's done. 2 jobs tick. They know style is going to be cohesive. and they know that they're going to work together, or if it's the one person who both like do it well on the day, and there's not going to be any dramas between.
Yeah, no arguments.
No arguments or anything like that. So it's like a 3-pronged plus for the couple to get a vendor who can do both photo and video.
Yeah.
So any kind of like bitching and whining from the vendors who are like, oh, photographers shouldn't do video. Like,
It's
fuck
my
off.
turn.
The couples want it, and it's great for them.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
why not?
totally.
Like,
And I think, like you said, sorry to interrupt you, but it's like I think what you were touching on before is like, I feel the same now that I'm kind of like coaching people a little bit here and there. And like, it took me a good few years to get decent. Like I was doing like slow-mo shit with music for like 2 years.
which also is also fine to do now if that's what the couples
Yeah,
want.
I mean,
Like,
it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So if that's what they want, fine. But, I'm not worried about it either. I'm not worried about even teaching people photography or anything because, by the time they get to where I'm at, I'm going to be somewhere else anyway. So it's like, it's not,
trying to hoard knowledge. Knowledge. Trying to hoard knowledge. Trying to hoard knowledge because you are worried about somebody else like stealing your ideas or doing anything better than you. Is bullshit.
I think it's just a shit way to live.
It's a shit way to live, and it's a narrow-minded way to live because, like, how did you learn? You learned from other people.
Exactly.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the only issue I have with it is I've seen some people like, oh, I'm going to do video, and they start doing it, and they start promising packages and stuff, and they haven't even done one yet, and they very much wing it.
Yeah, and it's easy to look up wedding video, whether it's an example from here or overseas or whatever, and go, oh, yeah, cool, I can do that. And then realizing after the fact, oh, if there's words in there, it means I have to also bring along microphones and tripods and an extra camera. And does that camera have a 30-minute record limit? Because if the ceremony is longer than 30 minutes, you're fucked. And like all the kind of
overheating, different kinds of mics.
The barrier to entry between like casual slow-mo highlight film to a film that has narrative and story and words is this huge, both in skill, equipment, effort, even manpower on the day.
Yeah.
And if you're a novice going into it, you might be like, oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then quickly find out it's a ball like.
I think that with video, there's just like with photography, you can wing it a lot with a good camera. As long as you have the basics down. But with video, there's quite a few like technical little like nerdery things that you need to learn.
And here's the other half of my kind of thoughts about this subject, and where the kind of like not schadenfreude in me, but like the I'm just interested to see if my predictions come true.
Yeah.
Where camera technology wise, like my camera now can do 8K RAW.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping me is media, the cost of media, the cost of the cards, the cost of the storage. And as we know, the cost of media always goes down over time. So is there a point at which I can shoot a whole wedding in 8K RAW video
and take stills
and do the stills from that?
I think it's very close.
Is there a time when the paradigm of photographer that has video as an add-on flips to videographer that has photo as an add-on?
I think that's awesome to talk about. Firstly, I've thought about this as well. And I think photographers have more to worry about with that.
Because you can always pull photos, you can always pull stills from video.
Yeah.
You can't pull the video from stills. You have to do a different job.
Yeah. The only thing is that if it was someone like yourself, for sure. But if someone that's like not, they're doing like slow mo shitty, maybe they're not like artistic, because it's different using light with video, like the way you shoot. I think a little bit like I think it. Well, I don't know. I guess. I mean, for me, it is like I shoot differently when I'm doing video.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that needs to change because I've thought about this, like even like, oh yeah, but like all your shots will be horizontal. It's like, well, you could just change how you shoot. You could also record clips in vertical, and those clips would end up in your social edits.
Yeah.
Because you need vertical video for social edits. Like right now, we're cropping down But what if we are also recording native vertical video on the day?
But even you could crop a vertical clip from a horizontal 8K clip, no worries.
Yeah, I mean it's always different when you like because when I record vertical content for like Canon and stuff, it always looks better than when you just like crop in.
Yeah, because you get the full depth.
You get the full depth of field and the full like lens characteristics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what I was trying to say was like photographers should be worried about a skilled videographer doing that.
Yeah, and this is the thing where I'm like, yeah, there's nothing to stop a amazingly talented photographer learning the skills of a video, like of video and storytelling, and editing and everything. Look at all the interest in Jared's workshop he's putting on.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
Photographers want to learn how to do video.
Yeah.
And what if you could do one job on the day, not two, or not have to hire out the video side of things? Because as I've heard from so many people, trying to hire out a videographer to have the same work ethic as you, match your style,
they're slim.
Or non-existent, or you train them up for 6 months and then they're off doing their own thing. Like, what if you could do one job?
Yeah. Well, and the chance, like you said, the chances of, if I'm doing a hybrid one, I have Julian doing most of my shit now.
Yeah.
But I've still done some where I've done all the lead photo and all the video because I can't find someone to do video. Like, but just because there's not that many. And if I gave you a ring, you're just going to be booked anyway. And, it's just going to be hell expensive as well.
Here's the thing, because if you're doing it as an add-on, the couple want it to cost like an add-on.
Yeah, totally.
Not like if they had the budget for a full, video thing, they'd do that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's why I've changed it up now because Julian's just doing all my I still do set up ceremony cameras and do audio and stuff like that, but he's just doing video and no photos.
Yeah.
And I do all the photos and just, help with video. And I edit it and all that, obviously, but it's a different product than what it was before. But yeah, I think it comes down to education because Jared's workshop will be a really good one for people to learn on. And
that dude's brain is great, in terms of story, and especially just classic storytelling. His brain for the kind of classic storytelling will never go out of fashion.
No,
it's not the kind of hype, TikTok trend editing that'll be out of date in a month. This dude knows stories like the back of his hand.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, when I saw that his film from our trip to America with Journeé, I was like, fuck. It's so good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely recommend his one.
Yeah. He's just consistent, solidly consistent, doing it way longer than I have and just solid. He was the person when I first started, I look up to him.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I can still look up to him. He still has a handle on especially coverage, seeing a moment and knowing, okay, yep, I need this angle. I need this angle.
Yeah.
I need to make sure I have the start, the middle, the end, all covered.
Yeah.
And it's I can do a bit of that, but my style leans towards a bit more vibey.
Yeah,
than
definitely.
Pure narrative.
Yeah.
Whereas he's got narrative down pat.
Yeah, and I think, you learn off people that you look up to and stuff, but eventually you just start going your own way and you get better at some people in certain shit and it's just the way it is. But I think education is the key for it. You can wing it, but you've got to have a special type of brain, I think.
I'm a complete hypocrite at this because I've never paid for a piece of filmmaking education.
I never have either. I've been on that one workshop.
I know it's great and I know that I would get a lot out of it, but I think I don't know, maybe I'm just complacent in the fact that I've been doing it for long enough that I've just...
And you started with the big guns.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's a big lesson. When I started in a second shot with some people that were epic, I learned a lot.
Yeah. And that was the benefit of doing video. And then even nowadays, videographers can get teamed up with photographers who are technically or just in terms of the kind of photography, and that it translates to video as well, capturing, seeing light, composition, directing couples, everything are
Yeah.
like screeds ahead of them because
Yeah,
there's just not as many
Yeah.
videographers.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy.
It's good shit. But yeah, no, we're all going to take your jobs when 8K to RAW video comes.
That can be the intro.
That's going to be the intro.
Yeah.
We're all coming for your jobs.
Dude, I'll start.
Unless the robots come for our jobs beforehand.
Yeah, AI first. No, honestly, if I can shoot 8K RAW and my computer can handle it and the storage I can afford, I would do that. I would just stop taking stills
Yeah,
and just
and if you had the kind of, here's the thing, shoot the whole wedding 8K RAW, and then you have a software along the veins of Narrative Select that rather than manually scrubbing through hours and hours of footage,
like pick
can
frames.
it give you a hand of pulling some of those frames?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not unfeasible.
The only thing I can think of is like, I don't know if you do, but do you use NDs at weddings?
Yeah, so C70 has them built in, and
You'd
then
have to stop doing that for the shutter speed.
Oh yeah, no. I wouldn't give a fuck about like correct shutter speed for the video.
Yeah.
That would be the smallest of all trade-offs.
Yeah, I don't even. I use NDs for like YouTube videos, but I don't use them for weddings.
Yeah, I think because C70 has them built in, it's just like don't think about it. And then the R5, because basically all my lens, all my big, like my 70-200 is still the EF mount, so I can use the adapter that's got the ND built in.
Yeah.
So because NDs on the front of the lens are dog shit because you get
and fucking expensive.
Yeah,
for a good one.
Yeah, for a good one.
Yeah.
Not that the adaptive one was cheap, but like you get the washout of the shadows because the reflection off the back of the ND.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one of the mist variable NDs. That's all right, but like you said, you can see like if I was pointing it in this direction, you'd see like the light coming in. I think it was another episode when, because I know we were just very briefly discussed the idea of doing a workshop as well, which would be cool. So watch out for that. But still do Jared's because it will be very different and he's epic. Yeah. But was it a podcast I heard you talking about Float 32?
Yeah. Audio, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think audio is the biggest thing that stops people from making an epic film. In my mind, like if you can't get audio, you're stuck at a slow-mo music. Well, it doesn't have to be slow-mo, but you're stuck with a music film. Yeah.
If you don't have the story, because the thing is, if you don't have that, like that's how all like, for want of a better term, like proper videographers, and big fucking like parentheses around that, build their films is audio first. Like we go hunting for the sound bites from speeches, vows, like anything throughout the day that we want to use words wise. Like words are the starting point. Put those down, find music to fit those words, build the whole film from an audio standpoint first, and then worry about the visuals.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. That's what I've started doing in the last season or two. Yeah. Like I used to find music first to fit the vibe, and then I would still do that, finding like speeches and stuff. But now lately I've been like gathering little bits of speeches and the vows, and I lay them out on a timeline, like where I want them, and then build it around that.
Yeah. It's because there's all the music in the world to fit the vibe, of, like the energy of what's being said. But if you go vibe first, you're restricted on what was actually said on the day. If you want something, a film that's really sweet, but the vibe on the day was like party, like best man was drunk as fuck, and like hectic as hell. It's not going to match. But because like, I try and get a variety of kind of like energies throughout a film, because whether it's because I get bored easily or I can't just like figure out what I'm about, I never like doing the same kind of film, or like the film being just like one thing. So always trying to have like a vibe, and I build a little like vibe graph for every film.
Metaphorically, you mean? Or
no, like literally pen on paper. So I basically go through and I pick out my my dialogue selects, and then I order them like sort of group them in like emotions or energies.
Really?
And then I sort of figure out on like just like arbitrarily like draw a little graph of like how I feel the energy like rising and falling throughout the film, and I sort of like look like, is this balanced?
Yeah.
So kind of like visually
Yeah.
on a graph of sort of like emotionally. And then once I've kind of got that, then I can figure out the music.
Yeah, right.
Because I know what music I'm hunting for. I like actually on a conversation I had with someone else, they called it like a shopping list.
Yeah.
Like you get you figure out what your sort of your story is going to be, and then you sort of write your shopping list for what music you want to go.
Yeah, like
looking
what
for.
the energy and how many minutes and stuff like
Because
that.
otherwise, you can just walk around the supermarket that is Music Bed aimlessly, not knowing what you're going to have for dinner.
It's a headache. That's the problem I had when I was finding music first. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to make, like because of the energy of the day. But then I looked through Music Bed or Epidemic. I use Epidemics. I have both at the moment. Music Bed's way better for weddings, by the way.
Well, why do you do that to yourself?
Yeah, Epidemic I find is way better for YouTube videos, like YouTube content, that kind of music. But like for weddings, it's shit. You know, you spend like an hour looking for music, and you put it on a timeline and it doesn't fit. So you like got to go back.
That's the thing, unless you know what you're looking for. And actually, I had a great conversation with guys in the States called Multiply Media, who music geniuses and like actually know music theory and can play instruments and write music and understand music. Like I've got like an intuitive, just kind of gut taste feel for music. Like if I like it, I like it.
Yeah.
Whereas they actually know music, and they still use their intuition when finding music to start with.
Yeah.
But once they've found a seed, like they use the gut to start to like, do I like this? Does it fit the wedding? Does it fit the vibe? Yes. From there, they switch into analytical mode and go, okay, from this song, we're going to search for songs in that same key or within a key that he used the example of going from, I'm going to fuck this up, like C major to like D minor or something.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, like a major fourth. I'm using all the wrong terminology, but
no, I know what you're
hang
trying
with
to
me.
say.
And if you go from like C to D or whatever it is, the major fourth, it's basically the wedding march. Dun, 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 dun. And he was like, it subconsciously tells people, here comes the bride. And I was like, fuck off, bro. Like, you know, that level of like intellectual, like intellectual thinking around something that you think of just like, oh, I'm going to go like looking for music.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, he still starts with the intuition.
Yeah.
But then switches.
Yeah. And music is such an emotional trigger. I mean, probably everybody's different, but I find music is more of an emotional trigger than visuals to me. Like, I imagine most people probably be like that, but I just delivered a film today. And it was one that I delivered. I was like, fuck, I nailed that one. Like, I was really happy with it. It was supposed to be a 5-minute film. It was like 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because I was just like in the vibe, just like, it was just epic. And there were such nice people, and there was so much good audio, like on-camera audio. Like, it was shit quality. But that scratch audio with people like talking to me and like telling me about stories through the day and shit. It was just fucking magic. And you just can't leave that shit out.
Yeah.
And there was this point in that when the groom was finishing his vows, and like right at the end, he said, I love you. And the music like ramped up, and then it like stopped, and he said, I love you. And then went into the next song. Yeah. It was just fucking
nice.
I kind of did it by mistake. Yeah. But I was like,
I love that shit. When you do something by accident, you're like, actually, great.
That's sick.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it really, I think honestly, I followed others. Like I followed like, is it Henry Weddings or whatever in Texas? Or
Henry Martin's.
Brothers Martins or something?
Yeah, Brothers Martins, but Henry's the video half of that.
Right, yeah. I haven't looked at their stuff in years, but like when I started to really get into video, I started looking at their shit and I was like, fuck.
Again, someone who's got a real grasp of narrative and story and emotion.
Yeah. And then when I started looking at your stuff, it's not a Ben praise podcast, I promise, but like
I thought this is what we were here for, Chris. Come on.
But when I started looking at your
Stroke
stuff,
my ego.
It really kind of helped. I'm like a visual person for learning, you know what I mean? And like watching your films, I've kind of like piggybacked off a lot of your shit.
Do it. I've piggybacked off other people.
That's just how you learn, right?
I just realized I was mirroring your body language.
It's my power pose.
Yeah, power pose. Love it.
I have to do
Chris
it
is dominating me.
I'm showing leg
Yeah.
and my stubbies.
Here we go. I'll show some leg.
I still haven't set up the foot cam.
The foot cam.
People keep asking
mate,
for it.
we need a paywall for that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Sign up for the OnlyFans
Yeah.
for that shit.
Sick, man. That was a cool little thing on video. The next thing I really want to talk about was your podcast because it's fucking dope and it like took off hard out. And I mean, I don't know what the stats are, but it's fucking great. And like, I imagine it would be doing pretty well. And the guests you have are really awesome. And like, you know, it's all good starting a good podcast, but the thing I really found with yours is the way you are with people. Like, that's why I was talking about competition and shit, because I don't think you're afraid of it, because you promote other people that are like direct competitors to you. And like, I'm all about that. Like, I love just building people. Like, I don't know, I feel like the more we do it together, the better everyone's going to be.
Absolutely.
And you're all about that. I can just, I just know you are. And the podcast is sick, man. So like,
Thanks,
what made you? I mean, you're why I started. Really, I was the same thing again. I always thought about it, but I was like, fuck.
It's one of these things. It's a lot of people want to start one because it's a great thing to do. Like, because for me, like, I'm mad fucking introvert energy.
Yeah.
But so I needed something like a podcast to give me a framework to put myself out and talk to people.
Yeah.
Because before then, I like didn't really like connect with the community. I didn't like network. I didn't like it's not natural for me to just like catch up with people.
Yeah.
Have coffee, have a beer. I just whether I'm just like self-focused or introverted or whatever it is, I needed the kind of like formal framework of the podcast project to just sort of like give me an excuse and I guess like a reason to reach out, talk to people, and again, like a little framework to kind of like base the conversation.
Yeah.
And I'd always been interested in some form of education just because I like teaching. And also, as I sort of did it more and more and more and got also using it as a way to kind of like deal with my like speech impediment, like, and just kind of like push past that and be like,
it has gotten better, eh?
Nah.
Oh, hasn't it?
Nah.
It's been good today.
It's, there's lots of little like mental tricks you can use to work around it, but it still gets in the way.
Yeah.
But as I started doing it more and more and started like reaching like across the ditch for guests and then over to America and Europe and India and stuff, like it's honestly like I'm getting paid to have a masterclass with people that I would never get the chance to get across the phone with.
Yeah.
You know, like Sid from House in the Clouds and like Dylan.
It's like a one-on-one free workshop.
Yeah. White and Reverie. But name it, like the best filmmakers in the world, and I've got 2 hours on the phone with them and I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, I haven't interviewed anybody, I mean, apart from like James Day, I guess, and my friends are quite good photographers as it is. So like just interviewing like Justin and Rachel and all those people, like I've learned shit just from my mates that not, you know, I could just ring them anytime, but like having this kind of format and like officially like talking about shit, you pick up heaps of stuff.
Yeah, and doing it in person is nice. Like I did it in person with local people for like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
And that's great. And it's like, it is nice getting back across the table from someone. But like international guests, pandemic,
doesn't work.
Zoom interviews were just like an easy way to do it.
Yeah. Are all your podcasts video podcasts?
Barely.
Yeah,
like,
right. Okay.
I upload the video versions. I'm so lazy about this shit. I could easily get them on YouTube, but I just haven't.
Yeah.
So video versions are on Spotify, but like no one really watches video on Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only reason. I mean, I like doing the video ones because it's quite easy in here, and it looks cool. But and I have the YouTube following already, so I was like, fuck, I'll try that. But it's fun, man.
It is fun.
It's fun.
I love like just an excuse to just like kind of fuck the small talk. Let's just like talk about something cool.
Yeah.
And the way that
And like help other people while you're doing it.
yeah,
And yourself.
And just like get down to it. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm doing a power pose again.
You got the shirt on me though. I've only got my shitty like Kmart jumper. Honestly, I've just like had so much fun doing it, and I'm pretty excited to just keep interviewing people.
You've been going hard too. Like I knew myself when I started. I was like, I don't have the fucking energy to like go hundy on this. So I started like monthly.
Yeah.
And eventually, and I was like, okay, yeah, I want to like push and go for sponsorship. I'll like go to fortnightly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never had the stomach for like weekly. I just can't.
Oh, you still do fortnightly?
Yeah. And even then, like I had to take a month off because I was just like wiped from wedding season and just built up some like procrastination and like anxiety and burnout from just like trying to like hustle the podcast and do weddings and everything and floods and cyclones. I was just like, you know what, March, we're not doing podcasts.
Yeah.
March is we're just gonna pretend March doesn't happen, and we'll come back in April and just go from there.
Yeah. Do you have some good ones lined up?
Yeah. I
Give us like a little promo.
Oh, the promo. Well, so the episode that just dropped this morning. It won't be this morning by the time this goes live, but the one I just released with James Broadbent from Narrative was wicked. We're talking all about like the roadmap to what AI for video looks like, and like all of his learnings with like narrative select and stuff.
Yeah.
And projecting that out into what that looks like for video and how to like do like video culling and all this kind of stuff, and like how we can use video like AI as a tool for video editing. Not in the sense of like it can just like edit our videos for us, but like can it do culling? Can it do all this? You know, it can already like clean up our audio, and it can and literally like hours after we did the interview, Autopod plugin for Premiere dropped, which is I saw that. It's an automatic multicam editing plugin.
I use Final Cut.
So do I. And I'm like, cool, all of these fucking plugins are going to be Premiere only.
Sucks.
I know.
I can't go back to Premiere.
Yeah. But no, so that one's cool. And then I'm trying to tee up an interview with Vishal Punjabi, aka the wedding filmer.
Oh, yeah.
From India.
Yeah.
Dudes.
Do you just like reach out to these people?
Yeah, I just like slide into their DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just big on Instagram and just like, just getting all up in people's DM,
up in their shit,
up in their junk. Just slide on in there.
Feet cam.
Just slide on and into their OnlyFans account.
Yeah. That's what I've been trying to do. Just like leaning on the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
But we did have a question. Did you see I posted in the group?
I saw briefly you did that. Yeah. Was there anything that came up?
Not really. There was one.
No one cares.
I mean, it was only like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But I have strong opinions on this, but to be fair, I had to learn how to do it. But someone asked about shooting log at weddings.
Oh, yeah.
Like whether like the pros do it. And I think it goes to say everybody that knows, I shouldn't say everybody knows what they're doing, but anybody that wants to make something that looks nice is going to shoot log, right?
Yeah. I mean,
but you're not shooting raw, I'm assuming.
No. So there's two schools of thought of this. One is who gives a shit, which is like the kind of pragmatic answer, which is kind of like the real answer, really. Because if it looks good and if you can shoot Rec 709 or like, no, if you can shoot I don't even know what you call non-log.
Yeah, Rec 709 just means no picture profile, basically.
Yeah,
like
if you can shoot not in log and do it. What blows my mind is that everyone's always like, oh, I don't know how to shoot log. I don't know how to this. And I'm like, bro, shooting log is on easy mode. How do you not shoot on log?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I think
you're literally making your life way harder.
Yeah, I think people just find it hard to get their head around it.
Yeah, and I think so. The big thing is understanding that pretty much most cameras these days have viewfinder assist functions.
Camera assist.
Camera assist. So you switch your camera into log, and then you go into your menu setting and you look for, because you switch your camera to log and it's like, this is all grey and disgusting and I don't know how to expose my image. Cool. You're not meant to know how to expose it looking at that. Go into your menu and look for gamma assist, viewfinder assist, anything. Like Rec 709 LUT. And it basically on the back of your screen looks like a normal contrasty image, but the files are then like washed out grey log files. And you don't then grade those files. You do a transform LUT and then grade underneath it. Yeah. So like there's nothing to sort of know how to shoot log outside of a couple of settings in your camera. Yeah. And then it's just like literally you give yourself more wiggle room in post.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll all be in a workshop anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You can pay for that.
Yeah.
People can pay for the privilege.
Yeah, I mean, that's why pro cameras have, like, they literally have LUTs built into them. Like, not my ones don't, but, like, most of the Sony video cameras and Canons and stuff.
So do you not have a viewfinder assist?
Yeah, but I can't put, like, a custom LUT on it.
Oh, you can't put a custom LUT?
Yeah, like the S3. The S3 and FX series you can.
Yeah. I don't even know if I can put a custom on the Canon. Probably not.
You'll see.
Knowing Canon.
Let's do a little quick, what's in your camera bag?
A little what's in the camera bag? Yeah. So...
And just to clarify, because I don't think we have said you do video only. You've never been a photographer, right?
Nah, outside of like for friends, like every now and again. But no, just
okay. So what's in your bag?
So too fucking much, basically. Yeah. So the curse of the videographer is too much fucking gear. Yeah. So main camera is a C70, which for the photographers will know no fucking idea what that is. But it's like picture a 1DX but thicker.
Yeah, with like a fan and shit on it.
Yeah, the fan and shit. And
the cinema camera.
Cinema camera. Because, we need to use cinema things and call ourselves cinematographers. Yeah. So that's my main cam, and then I've got an R5C as my B cam. Yeah. Look at me throwing around A cam, B cam bullshit. And yeah, so C70, R5C, and then I've got an XC10, which is my C cam.
The fuck is an XC10?
What the fuck is an XC10? So XC10, it's this weird little camera that's fucking great. So it was around the same
cam.
Kind of. So it was around this. It came out the same time as the original C100.
Right. Okay. So
early like Canon cinema line days. Fixed lens.
Okay.
Like 24 to 240 or something. Like lens on it. Like 2.8 to 7 point bullshit something. But shoots 4K. Shoots C-Log. And unlimited recording.
Is that just like a ceremony camera?
So yeah, it's just the perfect like back wide angle, ceremony angle. Yeah. I use it for my couple of reactions. I use it to do like time lapses on the day. Anything where you just want to like chuck a camera, safety angle, it's great. Yeah. And yeah, so I use C70 as like main cam, handheld gimbal, all that shit, and then R5 is usually like 7200 for
R5C.
R5C, for which I need to power with a V mount because the battery life's terrible. Shit. And that's my like groom vow angle, celebrant, and then like speeches. So like anything that's like on a tripod, locked off, like long form recording that's the R5C's job. And then like often on the audio, one of the audio signals will go into that. So I've got like the what is it? The Rode mic? Yeah.
The wireless ones.
The wireless Rode mic. So one of those will go into the R5C. Yeah. And then I've got, so that's cameras, lenses.
Just those three cameras?
Just so yeah, I basically do 3 cameras, and then I got drone, and that's it. Yeah. Drone, yeah. Cameras wise. Lenses, I don't know.
Same old shit.
Lenses.
Couple of zooms, couple primes.
I've got some lenses. Yeah. And then, so audio wise, so we've got Rode mics, the Rode Wireless Go.
Yeah. The ones with the internal recording or the old ones?
I've never actually used the internal recording on them.
Is it the Go-To?
It's the Go-To. Yeah. So it's like the 2 mics, 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Jobby.
Yeah.
So I've got that as one. That goes into the R5C. I've got a Zoom F3, which is my like field recorder.
Yeah, so that does float 32 in that.
So that's got the 32-bit float. So that taps into PA system, DJ booth, venue PA system.
Yeah.
Anything I can get feed out of that goes into the F3. And then I've got a little stick recorder that's not a little Sony audio recorder.
Yeah, the popular one that was going around
ages ago that people like couldn't find on eBay for the life of them. And it very importantly doesn't transmit anything. It only records into it.
So you're not interfering.
Because often you'll try and put the Rode mic and strap it to the wireless mic for the venue, and it causes feedback issues. So you really want to have an option in your kit that doesn't have any transmitting functions. There's better options now. Like what I'm using now is old, but that's my like backup of a backup of a backup. So I just haven't updated it yet.
Yeah.
But you need 3 forms of audio if you want to do video, really.
Yeah. I have an H6.
Yeah.
Which doesn't do float, but it's fine for that. And then I have a couple of F2s.
Yep.
And then I have the DJI mics. I had the Rode ones, but I had issues with interference when I'm strapping them to it. I don't have that with the DJI ones.
Oh, cool.
But I have had other issues of like reliability. They're like getting fixed. But yeah, I think those with audio having like actual hard recordings is so much better. Like wireless is good, but it can just it's problems.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
can't rely on
you just got to
people.
have multiple options.
Yeah, and you can't rely on people knowing how to even fucking speak into a mic.
Yeah.
B, a shitty like PA system that a celebrant has bought or something.
Yeah.
Like there's so many problems with audio.
Yeah.
That, like you said, you've got to have just backup after backup.
Although now AI can just fix it all for you, so we're fine.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That AI podcast.
Adobe podcast plugin is actually
it saved my ass.
Mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried it with like taking cicada sounds out of audio?
No, so I haven't touched it on a wedding yet.
It works real well.
Yeah, no, I'm going to basically do for like edits moving forward. I'm basically just going to, when I'm finished editing, do a mix down of like just all the dialogue. Export it out, run it through Adobe Podcast and see what happens. I'm sure it'll be fucking great.
The only thing is you have to do them separately if you can. Like have different tracks for different people speaking. Because if they merge and they're overlapping,
it's rare that I have that because I'm usually just pulling speech and vowel segments.
So that is fine.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah, nice.
So
sweet, man.
That's like a quarter of the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of other shit with video, like because we got cameras, we got audio, got like big ass tripods, light stands.
Photography is so easy when it comes to gear.
Drone, gimbal, and then I've got all my like random sundry shit, which I heard Johnny talk about his shit, and I love this shit, all the like random shit.
Yeah,
because I got
that's where the gold is.
I got the the earplugs from him.
Oh yeah.
So I got earplugs, and then I got all my like prism lens effects, prisms.
Yeah,
I love that shit.
I have one. I never use it. I have one. I got one of those glass ones off eBay or whatever.
Yeah. I got, did you just like the little triangle one?
Yeah, it's like a triangle shaft.
Yeah, I hate those.
Is it? That's why I don't use it. It's just annoying.
Yeah, because it's the thing with the triangle prism is it's just like it just takes one bit of image over here. And
yeah, so what ones are you using?
So I've got a kaleidoscope filter, which is like a big kind of diamond patterned
You put the whole thing over the lens.
You put the whole thing over the lens, and it's one big kaleidoscope, and it basically keeps the center clean. And then like kaleidoscopes everything around it. And then I've got this one like big mega half diopter kaleidoscope thing with a big handle on it. It's like this big.
Yeah.
It's like half a dinner plate.
Really?
And it's just like got like 3 kaleidoscope shards across it.
See, this is why you do podcast, people.
And you just like hold that shit in front of it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Man, I'm going to have to buy one of those. I'm getting one of those smoke machines that James Day uses.
Oh, is it like a little like sort of uses a vape cartridge and just like sprays?
It's like a Smoke Genie, it's called.
Yeah.
But they're like $1,000. So I'm like trying to get a YouTube deal on it.
YouTube deal. Hashtag sponsor post.
Yeah. I have to release this after.
Yeah.
Primo, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see you.
Bro, this is great. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's so good, man.
And yeah, it's nice to see someone jumping in the podcast game.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones now, like yours and Greg's. I Greg's one's good. I do prefer the interview style thing. I just find I get way more out of it when I'm listening to it. Like that podcast you did with, you know, the one I text you about. What was the guy's name? It's like a Spanish guy or something.
Oh,
and he had talking about putting people by the suit, by the window and doing the.
Oh, Ricardo. Yeah.
Bro, that podcast changed my game.
Bro, because it's true.
I could hear you interviewing him, being like, "Fuck."
Yeah, it's true. We all do it. And it's like,
I'm going to link that one in the description.
Why do we make people do that?
Yeah.
And
Don't say anymore. People have to watch it. Yeah. I'm going to put the link to Ben's podcast in the description.
Ricardo is a fucking genius. He's great. He's a good time too.
Yeah. Sounded like it. Nice, man. I really, I've been ending these lately on just a, like, how are you? Like, everything's cool and like, you don't have to go too deep, but like, you know.
Yeah.
I like talking about mental health a little bit because I think people have heaps of issues that no one ever fucking talks about and it's just stupid. And
well, because we grew up not talking about it, our parents not talking about it, and you know.
Yeah. And I just like to check in and just be like, how's it?
How am I?
Yeah.
Terrible. But
terrible. Stressed.
No, I'm fine. I mean, burnout, I would say is the word.
Yeah. Got a bit of burnout happening. Me too, bro.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us have this season, I think, coming out of COVID, I think is a combination of things. I think the adrenaline of COVID has died and we're dealing with the fatigue of like post-adrenaline, you know, COVID life.
Mess.
Yeah. Trying to like run our businesses through a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
And like...
And still having to pay tax on it.
You know, I think we're all kind of like, all the endorphins are kind of like fading away and we're sort of now going, "Ooh, that was a lot. Could do with a break. Okay, I can't. Got to keep going." So there's that. Also, I think this season, like, just the weather's been fucking dog shit, which sounds so pathetic and arbitrary, but it makes everyone's life so much harder.
Yeah.
And when you compound,
just logistically,
when you compound everything on top of each other, I think everyone's fucking tired, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good seeing everybody at that.
At the hangout.
Yeah, at the hangout. We need to do more of those, man. I remember we started the group. We used to do them like once every couple of weeks, and then like people just got sick of each other probably. But yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's cool. I'm glad you're doing well. How's kid?
Yeah, he's good. He's a firecracker. He's
like hyper.
Yeah, mate, he's just
how old is he?
He's 3.
True.
We're in full three-nager zone. But no, he's great. He's like everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also a lot.
Yeah.
As you know, being a dad, it's like they're fucking great and they're a fucking handful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll wrap it up.
But
yeah, thanks a lot for coming on again. And like I said, everybody, check the links in the description, and I'll put all Ben's details, like your website and Instagram and podcast and everything in there. Check it out. And yeah, see you in the next one.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.